we go. We're now live. Okay, everybody, welcome back. This time we are on to Saturday online clinic with Professor Ukwenya. Professor Ukwenya, it's beautiful to have you with us. Thank you for taking out the time. Can we talk a little bit
Right.
about you and your profession? I know you're a professor of surgery in Nigeria. Please tell us about that.
Okay. First of all, let me say that it's a privilege for me to be with you. I know that we've never met, even though you're very close to my wife, friends, and schoolmate. We've been married for
Yes.
30 years. We've been married for 30 years.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
we come from pretty the same place. We're about 70 kilometers apart. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we met when I was in the university then. That's when we met.
Yes.
We raised a family of 4 children. My
Yes.
career, my career has been in surgery. I trained first as a general surgeon,
Mm-hmm.
and I cover uh, gastrointestinal tract, breast,
Yes.
thyroid. Basically, these are the main working areas, but my subspecialization is in gastrointestinal tract. So I do a lot of colon and a lot of stomach, and I'm also most of the work I do is in cancer surgery.
Cancer surgery. Okay. Now, do you see a lot of cancers in Nigeria? And what do you think is the causative factor? What are the factors in Nigeria that lead to people developing cancer?
Um,
Is it the
there are
diet?
there
Mhm.
are quite a decent number of cancers in Nigeria, and in fact, it's worrisome. I think the last data we have from Globocon, that is Global Cancer
Mhm.
Research from WHO, is about we have close to about 120,000 cases every year. The
Mhm.
numbers may not be like you see in the West, in US, UK, but what is worrisome is that the number of people dying is not comparable. So you have almost 5 times the death rate for the same stage in and I mean you will have in US there. For instance, that is to say that about 85% of our cancers end up dying. And this is what bothers us. And the other thing that bothers us is that even though the numbers are not that too many, the frequency, I mean, the rate of growth, the rate of rise of cases has become a bit bothersome as well. That
Why?
means, well, a number of factors are responsible. We can look at the problems from two angles. Those factors that are, we can say, basically are poverty related. These are the cancers resulting from infections. And
Mhm.
amongst them are the ones related to human papilloma virus, that is HPV,
Mhm.
which we should not be dealing with. Then we have the cancers that are related to HIV. That's another group that we shouldn't be dealing with. They are on the increase as well. And then we also have those ones that are Helicobacter pylori. It's a common trouble, and we believe that a decent number of gastric cancers, stomach cancers are also quite very frequent in Nigeria, and this is
Mhm.
related to an infection that should be controlled by having providing proper water supply and sanitation. And
Oh,
again, you have all the ones that are environmental in terms of causation. The We're talking about cancers that result from or not necessarily environmental, yes, and then another factor you look at is those related to living standards. And among these are the fact that the country is aging a little bit more. We have We're getting
Yeah.
growing into the age. We also have, and the older you get, the more something
Yeah.
will happen to you. The more likely you're going to have something with your genomic system
Yeah.
that may lead to cancer. And
Okay, so
we
let me
also
ask a
have
question here.
problems of a growing problem of obesity.
Yes.
Yeah,
Obesity.
go ahead, go ahead.
Let me ask a question here. Yes. Because let's start with cancer of the stomach. Has this got anything to do with our diet? You mentioned H. pylori. What is the real causative factor of H. pylori? Because we're seeing an increase in people who have ulcers, and in the population who have ulcers, they get to develop stomach cancers as a result of H. pylori. Where is the link? What causes the infection? Where is the link between H. pylori and the cancer in the stomach? Can you take us through that? And what can Nigerians do to protect themselves?
H. pylori is a fecal-oral infection. That
Mhm.
means it gets into the human stomach by swallowing by contaminated water or
Yeah.
contaminated food.
Yeah.
And this is not supposed to happen where you have proper water supply. At least proper water supply and sanitation and public health are the important preventive measures for any disease that is caused by drinking water or eating contaminated food.
Mm-hmm.
So the link between H. pylori causes what we call inflammation. It starts some sort of um, uh, damage to the stomach, to the lining of the stomach. And
Yes.
this damage gradually will go through a number of steps that will eventually lead to cancer.
Yes. Okay, so it damages the walls of the stomach, and then we see patients develop ulcers. And with the healing of the ulcers, the cells making up the area changes, and then the cells are more predisposed to formation of tumors. Now, when we're talking about signs and symptoms to watch out for in the different categories of cancers you've talked about, tumors are the first things that come to mind. Can you tell us some symptoms? Let's start with breast cancer. Some symptoms that women should look out for before they even get to the formation of tumors and the rest. What symptoms should women be on the watch out for when it concerns breast cancer?
The the most important symptom of breast cancer is a painless lump.
Painless lump.
It's
Okay.
a painless lump. And that's what is very dangerous about it. This lump looks harmless at the start. It looks small. But what is typical about the lump is that you come back the next time, a couple of weeks later, you discover it has gotten bigger. So it keeps increasing in size.
Mm-hmm.
And in some cases, you may discover that another lump will appear on the armpit, in the armpit on the other on that side. That
Yes.
should tell you that you are a problem. And then again, the age we are talking about is uh, generally supposed to be from 50 years, but in our own part of the world,
Mm-hmm.
even from 30 years and above,
Mm-hmm.
we are a little bit worried when we see a lump in the breast. So pain, we most people expect pain to be a symptom of cancer. It is
Mm-hmm.
only in the late stages and only some few types of breast cancers that end up being painful. And this is not up to more than 1 in 10 people will have pain. In most cases, is an issue of a lump that does not cause pain. It just increases in size. But one thing it can do, if it is neglected for a long time, is that
Mm-hmm.
the it will form a big sore and it will
Yes.
bleed and then it will smell. That is the stage that you don't want it to get to. But that is a
Okay.
natural history. When you leave it, like when it is not treated, it eventually the cancer will break down, form a huge sore in the breast.
Yes.
And at that bleeds and it smells. So
Okay.
that's the stage you don't
So
want to get.
Women are taught to do self breast examination, like feel around their breast from the nipple and go outwards towards the armpit also, and feel around the breast for lumps. And if there's any suspicious lumps, report it to their doctor. And they're encouraged to do this as often as possible because that's the only way to know exactly what your breast structure is. Girls that are going through puberty, women that are nursing, should not be excessively concerned with lumps in the breast because, I mean, their breast structure will change as they get older, and it will also change as they are exposed to different types of hormones. Let's talk about lung cancer. What are the symptoms to look out for in lung cancer? And I have a question, sir. The COVID attacks your lungs and causes fibrosis in your lungs. Now, does it mean that when you recover from COVID, there's going to be a continued onslaught of the effects of this virus on your lungs? And what symptoms should you be on the lookout for when you have lung cancer? Sorry, people, there's a lag. There's a lag in delivery. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can pick you very well, loud and
Okay.
clear.
Okay. Well, symptoms of lung cancer.
Okay, let's start from the COVID issue.
Okay.
COVID is a relatively new problem to us.
Mm-hmm.
What we're dealing with at the moment are the short-term immediate effects of COVID infection.
Yes.
We cannot say what the long-term effects are, whether they
Mm.
are chronic sequelae.
Okay.
Uh, it's something we cannot say because I mean we are still within 1 year of the first cases, so it's going
Yeah.
to be a bit difficult to say whether there will be further damage, other problems, complications that may come in, and complications that may lead to cancer. We are not
Mm.
sure about that. As far
Okay.
as symptoms are concerned, one of the common problems of cancers we have is that they can be slow growing in the body for quite a while
Mm-hmm.
before they start producing the first set of symptoms. So a lot of people discover they have a growth in their lungs without actually having any symptoms at all.
Oh
And
dear.
some people are either discovered maybe because a test has been conducted, maybe they've gone through some x-rays for some other purpose, or maybe scans for some other purpose, and then a lump is discovered. But
Mm-hmm.
usually, the kind of people that should be worried about lung cancer in most cases is people that are close to 70 years of age. Those are
Mm-hmm.
that's the age that we should worry about. Although, like we see in this part of the world, we shouldn't be surprised to see some people reasonably below 70, below 50, below 60 coming down with lung cancer. This is very peculiar to us in this part of the world. Now, the earliest symptoms you are going to get will be something like cough, uh, particularly with some blood in it,
Mm-hmm.
sputum and blood.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, as the problem gets worse, may have shortness of breath,
Yes.
and could also you could have breathlessness. Then it could present as some other disease, as if the disease is like some other problem, like a pneumonia could be the
Yeah.
forerunner. You think you're
Yeah.
dealing with a different problem. So that's basically some of the common and weight loss, of course, accompanies all this.
Okay.
That is when there is weight loss, then you start beginning to worry.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about a few cancers. Let us talk about colorectal, thyroid, and cervical cancer, and then we will go into what we have to do to protect ourselves in this situation. You said something about the death rate from cancer being very high in Nigeria. I'd like to talk about that, but let's touch on colorectal cancer, thyroid cancer, and cervical cancer before we go in there.
Okay, colorectal is actually one of those cancers that has a rising incidence in Nigeria.
Why? All these things are rising
Um,
in Nigeria.
ye- yes, and again, the factors we think are responsible are the increasing age. Of course, there are then again, we believe that something has happened to the way we live over the years, particularly following exposure to colonization and European style lifestyle. And we eat things that our
Mm-hmm.
ancestors never ate. And one of them is processed food. Processed food, particularly
Yes.
processed meat, is has for some time now been implicated as a possible causative factor, because for you to develop cancer somewhere, the DNA has to be damaged, and the
Mm-hmm.
damage can come from a chemical, or it might come from some physical agent like radiation, or it might
Mm-hmm.
come from some biologic agent like viruses and so on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we believe that the causative agent, the agent that damages the genomic system for colorectal cancer, is likely to be found in the food. And what has been implicated, at least in researches in recent years, is processed food. And you know that in Nigeria at the moment, we are towing the way of the West. We consume a
Yeah.
lot of processed food, and a lot of processed meat. Some of the
Yeah.
chemicals for processing, the temperatures that are used for processing
Yeah.
produce produce chemicals that end up causing problems within our systems. So we
Yeah.
suspect that this is what is the reason why we have an increase in colorectal cancer, amongst other factors like, of course, smoking and obesity. These are also factors that bother us about colorectal cancer.
Is it an equal opportunity infection? Like, is it for men and both men and women are equally predisposed to it, or colorectal cancer happens more amongst men than women?
There is a it depends on which part of the large bowel, but generally the men are more likely to be exposed to the agents that cause the cancer than the women. So as a man,
Okay.
we are likely, but the differences is not much. So there is a high incidence of, this is
Okay.
a problem of both men and women. So if you're looking at frequency, for instance, in Nigeria, colorectal cancer
Yes.
is behind cervix and breast. So it's third in hierarchy in terms of frequency behind cervix and breast. When the men, it is behind
Okay.
prostate. Prostate cancer is the only cancer that is more frequent in Nigeria than colorectal at the moment. These are the statistics that we have.
Okay. Now, thyroid. I'm trying to rush through it so we can get to what we can do to protect ourselves. Thyroid. We had a discussion about thyroid. Can you talk to us about thyroid cancer? I mean, when you notice your neck enlarging like that, you start getting worried about what's going on with you. Can we talk about thyroid cancer for a little bit?
Okay, most thyroid swellings are not cancerous. Just a small percentage of thyroid swellings that are cancerous. Most of
Mm,
them are what we call simple thyroid swellings. And these
yeah.
ones are just a problem basically related to deficiency of iodine in our diet. And this is
Mm-hmm.
a problem that shouldn't exist in responsible places, because even though the water in an environment may be low in iodine content, what iodine
Mm-hmm.
is supposed to goes through the water we drink. But even though the water is lower in iodine content, iodine is supposed to be present in the bread we eat and in salt. So our salt
Yes.
and bread, by law, in any part of the world, are supposed to be iodized.
Yes.
So that is supposed to reduce the frequency. But in places like Nigeria, you still have a high frequency of goiters forming because of this. So you have thyroid swellings that are simple goiters. We have those that are toxic. These are the ones caused by thyrotoxicosis. The simple example are those ones that people's eyes are bulging. Those are the
Okay.
ones that are toxic. They are hyperfunctioning, so they
Okay.
produce excess thyroid hormones. And then a small percentage of the thyroid swellings are actually the ones that are cancerous.
Okay. All right, now we're talking about a lot of cancers. And before we came on, I got some questions about skin cancer. Somebody asked how an albino or albino in Nigeria can protect themselves from skin cancer. Africans have a lot of melanin, and that protects us from the sun. But what about the albino in Nigeria? They usually have a lot of skin problems. What would you advise? How would they look out to make sure they don't have cancer, and how would they protect themselves?
Unfortunately, as God made us and gave us our black skin, put us in the hotter parts of the world where we are under the sun and we are at the mercy of ultraviolet radiation. God also gave us that black skin to make sure that there's a lot of melanin content, and that protects us. That's supposed to be protective against the effect of ultraviolet radiation. But it's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate when people are born albinos. These are problems. These are problems, and I know from some of my colleagues who are into skin problems that in most cases, albinos have a very short lifespan. And most of them don't get past a particular age. And the commonest cause of death is this problem, skin cancers. And we know that the problem is as a result of exposure, basically to radiation that is natural, ultraviolet radiation that comes from sun rays. So for this purpose, what is most important for anybody that is an albino, and this is unfortunate, is that they must protect the skin from ultraviolet radiation. They've got to also stay close as they grow older, stay close to specialists that deal with these skin problems, so that if there is a problem, it is picked very early and treatment can be given. So this is my advice. I am not a specialist in this area, but I believe that these are some of the few tips that anyone that is in this situation has to face.
All right. So in Nigeria now, if somebody notices any of these symptoms we're talking about, what's the immediate thing to do? Go to the hospital, right? And then they are assessed and maybe referred to a specialist like yourself, who would give them a head to toe assessment and determine a line of treatment. Who pays for this treatment? Right? Who pays for this treatment? What do they have that enables them to afford? Is there a national health insurance scheme? Do the hospitals help out with these payments, especially with surgery? Right? Who pays for this treatment?
Okay.
Who pays for the tests that they have to
Okay.
have?
Let, let me particularly advise that anyone that has any health problem, the proper thing to do is contact your regular doctor, who is sometimes called your GP, or the doctor your family doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you've gone to see your family doctor for a problem and it does not appear there is a solution, or the problem doesn't seem to go away, then
Mm-hmm.
you have to request that the doctor send you to the specialist that deals with that area of the body. Because this is important. Why this is important is most cases, one of the reasons why our people are dying is because there is a late referral from the GP.
Yeah.
They and because either the problem has not been picked, the diagnosis has not been made, and you keep
Mm-hmm.
going and going, there is no improvement, situation is getting worse. Don't allow that to happen. Immediately it appears that your GP has not found a solution to the problem, ask that you are referred. That is
To a
in the event
special.
that the GP does not pick the diagnosis immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come to the issue of cost of treatment. Cost
Yes.
of looking after cancers are very expensive as one to look after, both in terms of the tests. The tests we are supposed to do in most cases are expensive tests, and they are
Mm-hmm.
a barrage of. And again, the treatments are also not cheap. But this is one of the misfortunes of being in this part of the world, because majority of our people pay from their pockets.
Yeah.
That means that is one of the reasons that's another explanation for why the death rate is so high, because of
Yeah.
this out of pocket payment. So
Yes.
most of our people cannot afford the cost of care. And the healthcare insurance we are talking about covers what percentage of our population? I don't know, but I think it is not up to 10% of the population. So you are looking at 200 million people.
People. Yeah.
And how many 20 million of those people will not be covered by the health insurance scheme, because it's only those that work for government, and most of Nigerians don't work for government. So that is to say, even if the health insurance can cater for the cancer, in most cases, I'm not sure whether that happens, that you don't
Oh,
get an absolute care. So for those on health insurance, there is a problem. And
yeah.
majority of our people are yet to be on health insurance. So what that simply translates to is the fact that that cancer, once a member of the family develops cancer, it becomes a serious financial burden on the family.
Unfortunately. Oh dear. So there's definitely need for a reform in the healthcare sector in terms of environment of care, availability of, technical whatever is needed to offer services, and also a way to pay for services rendered. Is there something that you and your colleagues could do in terms of approaching the government and encouraging them to fashion something out to care for the private sector, especially the private sector in the informal economies? Is there a way that they could give the hospitals money and mandate them to treat a certain percentage of the poor people, the people at the grassroots, to ensure that they keep this funding coming, or to give them some kind of incentives to offer services to the poor people? What could you do? What do you think? What immediately comes to mind in terms of offering healthcare services to the people at the grassroots?
Well, one thing I can tell you is that after many years of shouting loud from those of us that are at the grassroots, that are involved in taking care of people, even from warning from WHO,
Mm-hmm.
I believe that in the last couple of years, there's been a lot more activity from the government as
Yes.
far as dealing with this cancer scourge is concerned. And I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you, at the moment, we have a national cancer control plan. This has been in place for a while now, and from time to time it's reviewed. And we also have a national cancer control and research agency. I think that recently the government passed this act into law. So we're going to have an agency that looks after the problem. So we're going to be looking at all the stages that needs to be looked at, including the preventive stage and the stage of early diagnosis and treatment. And I'm also aware that there are all kinds of advocacy groups
Yes.
involved different levels, either at preventive level or at treatment level. There are different
Yeah.
advocacy groups, and there are also public-private partnerships. Government is at the helm of it,
Yes.
that are ongoing at the moment to assist in different ways. So it's not that the
Yes.
government is not doing anything, but at least it's just that it has taken us a bit of time before
Yes.
real native action has been taken. What we want to see is that we can immunize, we can vaccinate
Mm-hmm.
our people against HPV.
Yes.
Colorectal cancer should be at a minimum. That's
Yeah.
what a responsible country should do. We
Yeah.
should be able to eliminate most cases of liver cancer, because
Yeah.
again, this is due to hepatitis B, and hepatitis B has a vaccine.
Yeah.
So we should eradicate that if we provide
Yeah.
good water supply. So if you
Yeah.
are a country that is not rich enough to provide that high wire treatment,
Yes.
then you should be able to take prevention seriously. And that is
Yeah.
why one of the things we've kept on saying is that issues related to vaccines that are cancer preventive, like HPV vaccine, hepatitis B vaccine, should be something that will be part of our normal immunization schedule. I don't believe that this is the case because most of our children, girls grow up, they've never received the HPV. That should be part of our regular immunization schedule. So is also the liver virus vaccine, that is hepatitis B
Yeah.
vaccine. We should be able
Yeah.
to do that. And if we take care of our water, if we provide the right quality of water for our people to drink, a lot of our health problems as a people will be solved. So
Wow.
and we won't have to consider the cost of treatment. They would have
Yes.
been stopped where they should be stopped.
Yes. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much. Somebody says, my chairman is asking if you could consider like any grants coming from major corporations or foundations. The Gates Foundation and the Doctors Without Borders could come in and lend, a helping hand. Have you thought about reaching out to corporations or international organizations like that?
Yes, I believe that there's a partnership between the Federal Ministry of Health of Nigeria and many of the international donor agencies at the moment. And I can tell you there are different levels of care. For instance, I believe that I am aware there's a partnership between International Atomic Energy Agency to provide because we're struggling with in areas of diagnosis
Mm-hmm.
and treatment that are linked to atomic energy. I believe
Mm-hmm.
there's a ongoing partnership that will set up centers in the country. I am aware of those centers. I am I do I am sure that government is in contact with those major donor agencies that you have contacted, and they're probably working with also the advocacy groups that are pushing for cancer care in Nigeria as well. So I believe that
Okay.
these connections exist.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about something that the people at the grassroots or, could do immediately to help themselves. And that is food. Food, we are what we eat. Our foods determine what path our health will take. So what advice could you give to our viewers in these COVID times on exactly what kind of foods to eat, bearing in mind that something like vitamin C will, be an antioxidant that will help put a lot of infections at bay. Vitamin E would, lighten the blood and things like that. As a surgeon, you will know, you'll have deeper information on these things. So please share to us on what Nigerians can really put in their diet or add to their diet to help them stay healthy and help them survive COVID.
As a doctor, what I've always preached to my people is for us to believe in ourselves, to
Yes.
believe in the natural diet that different generations of our people have lived on. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that natural food in so many ways healthier than the processed food. We have no need to go to consume processed food to the extent the way we are doing at the moment. There is no need for that because we get our food directly from the farms, from the soil.
Yes.
So I think that's the way for us to go because a lot of problems can be solved for us if we stick
Mhm.
with our natural food because that this natural food contain all these vitamins and minerals that we need to stay healthy.
Yes. All right. Did you suddenly lose power, Doc? It's very dark at your end.
I'll ask my boys to, this is another trouble we have in our part of the world. So
Oh
they're
dear.
going to switch on the power backup now.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right.
If you,
Thank you
if
for
you can,
taking
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, it's okay. That's fine.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with us. We appreciate it. And thank you for the insight. And I hope that we all listening were able to learn something about the importance of vaccination. It's not always a conspiracy theory. There are some diseases that can be kept at bay by vaccination, like hepatitis, like cervical cancer. Which is caused by HPV, for which there is a vaccination against. Okay, so let us avail ourselves of this. And Doctor, I thank you very much for your efforts to involve international communities and sensitize the government to provide for the people. Thank you so much for taking time out to join us and speak with us this afternoon. And I look forward to more conversations in the future to share in your wealth of knowledge. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Regina, for the work you are doing. And it's been wonderful speaking to you.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, everybody, here we go. Like promised, we do have a chef in the studio, and he's going to share with us his menu that he suggests to help us protect ourselves from from the COVID infection. We all know that we are what we eat, which is why I took the campaign to Nigeria in a celebrity cooking competition. Superstars. Superstars showcased African recipes. It taught the people how they could recognize the nutritional value of African recipes and how they can use this to help themselves stay healthy. The doctor just told us that we are what we eat, that natural foods closest to the ground is what is best for our health. So without much ado, let me welcome the winner of the just concluded 2019 Superstar Celebrity Cooking Competition, Chef Ehis. Chef Ehis lives in Lagos, Nigeria. He runs a school that teaches other people to chef. Chef, you're welcome to the program. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah,
Say hello to our
yeah,
audience.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So where are you right now? In your school?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for joining us. I am very impressed by all your efforts. And it is businesses like yours, initiatives like yours that the government should really support, because what you are doing is to teach people how to cook, how to prepare the foods, how to make nutritious recipes that will do much, that will go far in keeping us all healthy. Can you talk to us a little bit about your school before we get into your special COVID recipe? Go ahead.
Okay. My name is Chefes. Thank you for having me on your platform.
You're welcome.
Yes, we run a culinary school. Yeah, we run a culinary school called ECCA ECA, A
Mhm.
Center for Culinary Arts, where we teach basics, techniques on how to cook fundamental dishes like basic dishes like cook local and international dishes. And then we
Mhm.
also have chef entrepreneur class where we teach individual that want to start business to learn
Mhm.
how to start a business. For example, small shops, catering, management, and all of the stuff. So that's what we do at ECCA. We teach
Yeah.
both pastries and how to make local cookery dishes.
Yeah. Okay. So how many people do you teach? How many people are you able to teach at a time? And can we see behind you? Can we look at your school and what you have there? How many people? Oh, wow. That's a big setup. That's a
Okay,
huge.
yeah, we, yeah, we have, we can take about 15 to 20 people at a time. And
Yes.
then we have all our facilities in place. We have,
Yeah.
also we have the learning room, which is the classroom.
Yes.
So, which is the classroom where we do the theory.
Yes.
And then we have everything it takes to teach practicals and theory classes. We also have a studio
Okay.
where we do
Yes.
live shots. We have our cameras, we have our lightings, we have
Wow.
actually everything it takes to take a training
Yeah.
when it comes to
How
cooking.
long? How long does a training take? How long does a training take? How long?
Yeah, it depends. We have a training for we have fundamental trainings which is 3 months. We have
Yes.
professional training, which is 8 months,
Yes.
6 month practical classes, and 2 month internship with one of the hotel and restaurant affiliations to them. And
Yes.
then we have short course for people that don't really want to become a chef. They want to learn how to cook their daily meals. And so we try to encourage people to cook themselves instead of buying, which would kind of guarantee what's in the food. So you can easily cookie of meal yourself,
Yeah.
30 minutes, 20-minute meals and all stuff. So we also do course like that.
Yes. Okay. So I see. Have you? I know. You are a small business. I mean, you qualify from all you have said to be a small business. Have you gotten any support from the Lagos state government? Are you based in Lagos?
Yes, I'm based in Lagos.
And so, did you apply for any support from the Lagos state government?
No, I've not got any yet. The one we heard of last time, we tried a possible ways to access the facility, but none. We're not able to access anyone.
Okay, so we're going to help you out there. We'll forward this interview and see what we can do to support businesses like yours. And anyone who is listening who has something to offer Nigerians, please get in touch with us. We would like to showcase this. Now, Chef Ehis, you wrote a book. After Superstars, you wrote a book. I'm very proud of you for doing that. And congratulations for winning the 2019 Superstar Celebrity Cooking.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about
Thank
your
you
book?
so much.
You are very welcome. What is your book about, and what motivated you to write this book?
Okay, I think the book is all about COVID-19. When the COVID-19, the first week of COVID-19, I was troubled because there are a lot of people around me that could not actually afford
Mm-hmm.
a lot to eat, and then they will call me and tell me, bro, send money, send money. I tried sending money, but I realized that I cannot even do so much.
Yeah.
And then I decided, okay, what am I going to do to help people? And I said, okay, let me do 1 minute video or 3 minute video on Instagram that would
Yeah.
help people to cook with little amount, which is 1,000 naira to 1,005. So my
Wow.
idea was if you have 1,000, 1,005, you
Uh-huh.
should be able to cook a meal. So
Yeah.
I took the idea, I nurtured it, and I asked my friend. I asked her, I said, what do you think about this? And she said, who is going to pay for the ingredients? I said, I. He said, do you know that there's no money? I said, I know. But they said, Mo, get out. You don't understand business. Okay. When we end the call, I thought about it and I said, why not turn this energy into a book that will last longer than COVID-19? So
Yeah.
people can easily make cook food on budget. So I started working.
Mm-hmm.
For the last 7 weeks, I've been in my kitchen. I
Yeah.
actually was not supposed to tell anybody that. I've been in my kitchen and I work day and night. I
Yeah.
worked most times night from 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. in the morning and do research and then try to put up a book. So thank God we were able to put that out in the short while.
All right. Do you have a copy of the book? Where can people find the book? Or is it going to be available later? Maybe Amazon and,
Yes, our plan is to put it on Amazon, and
Yeah.
then our special request for hard copies will be made available after the launching.
All right. Now tell us a little bit about the menu you have. For example, with this virus, there are so many things that attack the body with this virus, but we know that if your immune system is strong, you'll be able to fight it off or do better if you get this infection. We know that vitamin C available in fruits, right? Help you, serve like antioxidants and help cell repair, help your body's immune system stay strong. We know that vitamin E, which I see in the fish dish on the cover of your book,
Yeah.
vitamin E, provided by the fish, helps keep your blood thin. Tell us a little bit more about the recipes you provide from your kitchen.
Okay. The book that we just did, Cook on Budget, contains
Mhm.
about 65% of ingredient that will help to build the immune systems and also protect them. Things like spinach. We used actually the
Yeah.
local spinach. We used avocado. I really love avocado. Avocado is rich in vitamin E, and which helps to also very very rich. We have bell pepper, tomatoes. We
Yeah.
have cardamom,
Yeah.
which is a
Yeah.
sweet spice, and then that also helps to add more flavor to the food. So what we did, we infuse it into our curry and then fuse it to our
Yeah.
daily spice, and that also is part of the book. For vitamin C, we used actually, Africans actually love a lot of chili, but we're able
Yeah.
to add chili to the cooking, yellow bell pepper, thyme, parsley. These are some of these mustard seeds, mustard oil, and this lemon. We actually fuse this into the cooking because we believe that these a few ingredients would definitely help to build the immune system and also help to fight bacteria most times. And
Wow.
then
All this
we've
is
been able to
available in
achieve.
Nigeria. All this is locally available. All these foods are locally
Yeah,
available.
locally available. Yes,
Yeah.
I've always been a minister of people should try and look at the local stuff. Seventy
Yes.
percent of the dishes on my 70% of the dishes on my pages is they are made from the local stuff. I actually don't really buy a lot because we don't
Hmm.
really have high budget to print dishes here. We don't have anybody, nobody. There's nobody that is supporting us. So if there's nobody supporting a culinary institute in Africa, in Nigeria, well, some parts of
Hmm.
Africa countries have the government supporting them, but
Hmm.
Nigeria specifically is a peculiar situation. And
Hmm.
then we don't have any support from anybody. Even the banks, before they give you, they won't give you loan. They ask for a lot of collateral, which a food business, average food business in Nigeria does not even have a collateral because the people that are doing the business are people that are left.
Somebody's
So
asking how
uh,
you're managing in this COVID period. How is the catering business doing in this COVID period? Somebody's asking.
Okay, fantastic for the people that have been doing the business before
Hmm.
the COVID-19. Two set of
Yeah.
people, two group of people. The first group are the people that have been doing home delivering before the COVID-19. So this set
Hmm.
of people actually enjoyed so much from the COVID-19 because a lot of people are not going out; they just have to deliver food.
Yes.
Some parts of this set of people were so scared to go to the market to buy because there was no supply chain that was professional enough to do all of this at the initial stage. The second
Oh,
group of people are the people that actually bust into the business while COVID-19 was still on. This set of people actually are people that have a lot of reserve that invested and then they actually will not make so much profit like the people that have been in that kind of chain of home deliveries, food deliveries and all stuff. While all the
yeah.
restaurants were closed down, they didn't make money at all because they were not really planning for such sudden occurrence.
Hmm. Okay.
So
All
I
right.
think, yeah,
All right. So I thank you for your service to your community. I thank you for
thank you.
employing Nigerians and teaching them how to be self-employed, teaching them how to stay healthy, and teaching them to
Thank
serve
you.
their communities also by serving healthy dishes. I look forward to a post-COVID Nigeria where you can participate also in guiding us in Superstars 2020, so we can share this good work to the larger community and take it not just in Lagos State, but to states outside of Lagos, to the larger Nigerian society. Thank you so very much
Fantastic.
for joining us this afternoon. And I wish you a beautiful day, a beautiful rest of the
Thank
day, and stay
you.
healthy and COVID free. Do you have a few last words for our audience before I let you go?
Yes, what is stay natural as much as possible.
Yeah.
Try and try on every endeavor to learn basics on how to cook your food yourself, if possible. Learn quick meals, and that's guaranteeing your health and the nutrients and everything. So stay safe.
Yes, thank you so very much. And your plating, the way you present your food, it makes everybody's mouth water. This is a skill
There you
you
go.
have, and it's a skill you took to knock everybody out in Superstars 2019. Fantastic. This is a very
I
fantastic
just have
thing.
to. Yeah, it was a good one. I just have to knock them out.
It was a good one again. And thank you for
Uh,
joining us this afternoon. Have a
thank
wonderful
you.
day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone on the studio. Thank you for having me.
Bye bye. Thank you. All
Yeah.
right, there you have it. There you have it, people. That was Chef Ehis, winner of the 2019 Superstars Cooking Competition. And in the post-COVID Nigeria, we will be headed there to start up with Superstars 2020. And I encourage all of you to be on standby to robustly participate in this cooking competition, all right? So we can share knowledge in what to eat and how to keep ourselves healthy. Till then, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you this afternoon. I look forward to next Saturday where we can talk more and share knowledge on how to build each other and how to build and uplift Nigeria. I would like to say At this point, good night and God bless. Take care of yourselves and of each other. Stay safe from COVID, hand washing, safe distancing, social distancing, and your face mask, okay? COVID-19 social etiquette will keep you alive to a post-COVID era, okay? So see you then, all right? From me, for right now, is good night, God bless, and see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.